Hello, and welcome to the Cleveland International Film Festival Film Slam Streams post-film conversation for the session. My name is Eric Siler, and I'm a professor of communication, film, and media arts, as well as moderator of this conversation. We are so excited to be joined by the co-directors of the session, Chris Webb and Conrad Miles. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much. Good to be here.
Okay, it's great. Let's just get right into it. Crumping. Crumping is something that, started a while ago, dance form, a form of self-expression and dance. Can you tell us a little bit about how the idea of this film came about? Or both of you crump dancers and you decide, hey, let's just make a film about this? What happened? I'll start with you, Conrad. You want to tell us?
Yeah. So me and Chris, we're friends. We know each other. And we've been knowing each other for a while, and we just we've worked along each other for a while. And Chris had an idea for a film, for a documentary. Chris was already doing something. He was trying to do something with a film already, and he came over to my crib. He was picking up some footage, and he was like, "Man, I'm trying to something not just hitting. I'm trying to find this certain thing. I'm trying to do this." And I was like, and he was talking about mental health, and I was like, "Man, Crump, like we battle with that all the time. Crumpers battle with that all the time. So Crump and mental health go hand in hand, and we sat inside this room right here that I'm in right now, my home office, and was just pondering and just coming up with ideas and a bunch of things. And then we just came up with the name and came up with all the ideas and everything and how we wanted to um, showcase this and put this together. So yeah.
Okay, so that's how the idea. But Chris, I guess you had a little bit of insight when you and Conrad started talking. Well, what was your insight on moving this project along?
Yeah. So basically, what it was there was a competition called the If Then competition, where literally, if you come up with a idea for a documentary about your region, you could get $25,000 to make it. So I had this idea, I've been working on it all crazy and whatnot, and I felt like it just was not like fully there. So as Conrad said, when like he said, like, yo, it should be about Crump. We've been trying to work together for years before that point, and it just dropped like, yo, this is our chance to actually work together. So we made it about Crump. It was 2 days before that application was supposed to be due. We stayed up, wrote the application, sent it in, and then forgot about it. Months later, they said, yo, like y'all are one of 7 finalists. Y'all got to come down and pitch your project and see if you could get this 25,000.
That's wonderful. So obviously, you won the competition, but you mentioned that this the pitch had to be about the community. Now, Crump is something that was born out of California. So how did you tie your idea into the community, not just having based on Crump dancing?
Hmm. The tied in into the community. Well, a lot of different dancers are from the inner city and everything like that, and crump dancing helped us find that outlet. Crump dancing is that outlet for us, and in that outlet, you find different people, and you can connect and relate to those different people, and then you meet new people, and you can connect and relate to those people, and that forms a community, that forms a bond, that forms friendships, and then with that, Crumpin has formed a lot of bonds, a lot of friendships, a lot of mentors, a lot of people that other people look up to, and different things like that. So yeah.
Oh,
And
good, good. So that's. Go ahead. You want to add something?
yeah, and me on the outside looking in, I'm not a crumper, but when I came down to like actually like see crumpers in action, the Cleveland crump community is so massive, and you'll never know. Like they are massive, and not only are they massive, they're respected worldwide too. They win competitions. They know the founders of the movement, and they go all out, and really Cleveland like has a massive voice in the crump community at large.
That's good to know. You know that there's a mass audience here in Cleveland. Now let's get into the film itself. The film speaks a little louder than dancing because it addresses issues, and the dance serves as a backdrop or as a item to help move things along, as well as speaking to that. So, who was the lead? Chris, were you the one that took the lead on, I guess, finding the subjects and trying to tell the stories?
Well, it was an organic process. With me being kind of outside of the Crump community looking in, I knew that Conrad was the one who had the most authentic voice in the process. So him kind of taking the charge of finding the right individuals, that was essential, because if I would have did it on my own, I would have made a project that didn't properly reflect the community. It was crazy. Conrad has this wild story. He wasn't even planning to be one of the lead characters, even though he's like one of the most compelling people. Rad, if you wanted to like tell a little bit about that, feel free.
Yeah. So, so I actually was, like Chris said, I was not supposed to be in the film. I was gonna let a couple other people be in the film and stuff like that. So I just wanted to be strictly behind the scenes and be right alongside Chris, just trying to make sure everything was good and not show my face. But you know, things happen for a reason, and so I believe like it was a reason why I needed to be in this film and everything like that. And I'm shoot, man, I'm extremely grateful to even be in the film alongside of my brothers, Paul Carpenter Jr. and Aaron Saunders, and be able to share our stories and inspire others from our stories and whatever we've been through. So
Well, well, film can do that. When you work on a project, you're seeing other people, like you mentioned, Junior, Paul, and Aaron. They're expressing themselves, and you say to yourself, I have a story too." So that's good. I'm glad. You know, one thing about filmmaking, you have to be flexible to tell the story.
yeah.
You
Yeah, that's the truth.
you relate some really eye-opening facts, statistics in the film, such as about the highest suicide rate in the country in a major city amongst teens, and the child poverty rate. So it's really, really eye-opening, and I know there are more statistics as well too. So um, can you talk a little bit about your research and that you've in terms of how you found out information to help, make this film?
Yeah, yeah. So it was important for me to like make sure that mental health was on the forefront, and that, like, we properly set the scene. If we did the film and the viewer, say like somebody from Finland or Germany, England, was watching it, ain't never been to Cleveland, don't know nothing about our city, they wouldn't understand the context of like why Crump is so important, and why these characters go so hard, unless you know that they're faced with like these wild obstacles and roadblocks, and they're born in this particular context, you won't understand how revolutionary Crump has been in their lives. So it was important for me to research for Conrad and I, to make sure that we really set the scene of Cleveland properly. We actually have a whole entire cut scene. We took a whole day where we took all of our characters and we sat them down in front of a therapist for the first time who specializes in trauma, and we had our three main characters just speak about their lives. It was wild. We really wanted the focus to be on rehabilitation, on having an outlet, and such. And it's communicated in the film already, but we went super hard and had to scale back. So yeah, we did our due diligence to make sure that we researched and got some professionals in.
Oh, that's remarkable. I have a question before that, follow-up question to that, but before I do that, I just want to let our viewers know that we are talking to the co-directors of the session, Conrad Miles and Chris Webb. If you have questions, please put them into the Q&A portal and we'll get to them as time allows. In regards to the therapists, Chris, you had the professionals come in and you had the subjects actually express themselves. Was that actually in the film? Did you have the responses in the film, or was that something that did not get included in the film?
It didn't make the final cut, actually. Parts of it did over like parts of it did only in like sound. You heard them speaking, but you didn't actually see the scene in the festival cut. There was so much story, so much to pack in that you know, while there are things that we love, to be completely honest, we have a full like hour-and-a-half movie that we could cut, that we shot. But you know, to get it to festivals, to make sure that we did our duties with the competition, we released the festival version.
All right, okay. And in terms of releasing it, the festival version, it's been around the festival circuit. What has the response been to this film?
It's been great. It's been great. It's been really, really dope. A lot of people can relate. They get goosebumps when they watch it.
Yeah.
We take you on an emotional roller coaster. We like, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Like, you feel happy. You feel like, you feel a little sad, but you don't feel sad. You feel excited. You feel hype. You feel grateful. I mean, you feel appreciative. You know what I mean? You might look at the film and look back at your life like, man, I'm extremely grateful to be here. And be extremely grateful to come out of whatever I went through. And be extremely grateful you found the outlet.
All right, that's, yes, like you said, the key word, finding an outlet. What, so that's what people have been saying about the film. What do you, the two of you, want? What was your hope that you wanted people to get out of watching this film?
Yeah, for me, I really wanted people to know that they could find a community. A lot of people feel alone out here. Like they have nobody to turn to. Maybe, you know, maybe their family situation ain't the best. You know, maybe there's a lot of stuff going on in their lives. But when you look at Crump, and you know, you see the competitive aspects. Me looking outside, me on the outside looking in, every single Crump like session that I've been to, like it's high energy, it's all of these different things, but at the end it always feels like a family reunion, you know? And I feel like I'm just walking into just this giant family that just meets up, loves on one another, protects one another, knows each other's lives and whatnot. And I think that that's beautiful because there's so many kids out here who search for that in other ways, but there are so many healthy ways, and Crump is an amazing one of those.
That's good. We do have one question that's come in, and is, do you know if crumping is used as therapy, or if there are any plans for it to be used as therapy?
Yes, a lot of different crumpers use Crump as therapy. They use it as therapy. They go to Crump to release whatever they have built up in them. They go to Crump if they can't talk to somebody else, or they go to Crump if they can talk to their mother, their father. They go to Crump if they can't even talk to their teacher, or their friends or family. Like Crump is definitely a form of therapy. Definitely, it's a form of therapy. Like, it's something you go to and you feel safe, you feel comfortable, and when you come out of that, you feel even better.
So now, would you say, I mean, your film, you had, you dealt with the demographics here in Cleveland. Have you seen crumping expand to other races and other people of different ages, or is it just within a closed community of people within a certain age or a certain race?
No, there's crumpers that's like, oh my goodness, all kind of races. Like, there's crumpers, Filipino crumpers, Asian crumpers, French crumpers. I went to Montreal before. Crumpet all over Canada, Africa, Madagascar, Japan, Germany, all over the world. Like any race, any race you think of, any country you think of, crump is there.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Okay, well that's good to know. And just to set the record straight, everyone who crumps isn't in therapy. Some people just enjoy crumping, expressing themselves that way.
Yep.
That's good to know. Let's talk about another side of the whole crumping type of dancing. As you know, I mean, it's part of the hip hop culture in that way, and there could be some negative connotations with that. And most famously, we saw this summer. You mentioned Niho, who's one of the originators of crumping out in Santa Monica, when a lot of social unrest was going on and protests were going on. Niho was crumping in front of a Santa Monica law enforcement person, and that video went viral. And there's been a lot of positive responses, but there've been some negative responses too. Can you help dispel some of the negative responses that people might think about? Oh, crumping. I could see some parents saying to their kids, "Oh, don't do that. That's kind of like a bad thing. That's a urban thing." So let's kind of set the record straight in this interview for people who might be a little leery of crumping.
First, so I'll answer the first question, Miho. So that was his form of protesting. That was he was like, this is what I do. Me protesting, this is the way he wanted to protest. That was in his heart. This is the way I wanted to protest. I'm a crumper. I'm a creator in this dance. I want to show people like we stand with them as well. We stand with the community. We stand with the people as well. So that's what's his thing. Let me go down there. I'm a protest. I'm a crump dance though. I'm a crump dance. I'm gonna show them the crump. That was a major move for the whole community as a crump dancer. And if like you said, if any parents was weary about crump, I don't think you should be weary. Like crump is a great dance. You can be happy and dance. It might come off aggressively because different parts of your body is moving and your body is tense up and you're moving a lot of different muscles. Character is also in the crump dances. So you might have a different character. You might tap into a different character. You might want to be a nonchalant type of crumper, or you might want to be a funny type of crumper. There are those type of crumpers. But for anyone that's feeling weary about the dance, I think you should just do your research and talk to somebody. Let's have a conversation. Let me invite you to a session. Like
a session.
check out the session, and then I guarantee the mind will change.
Oh, good. Yeah, we have some questions coming. 3 more questions. I'll get to the this last question that just came in because it relates to what you just said. Why was the film called The Session? And you kind of alluded to that. Can you expand on that?
You want to say something, Chris? Go ahead. You got it.
No, I'll answer one of the other 3. You on a roll, bro. You got it, bro.
The film was called The Session because crumpers who come like what me and Chris was talking about earlier. The film is called The Session because mental health and crump. We battle mental health. Crumpers battle mental health, and you have mental health. We go to the session and we release anything that we got going on. We meet our friends, we meet our family, we meet different people, and we become that community. And the place that we become that community is at the session. And when we come to the session, you mean anything liable to happen. The session starts. When we come to the session, we're not just crumping. When we come to the session, we're fellowshipping. We're talking. We're getting to know one another. Somebody could be going through something. They asking for advice from somebody in a whole totally different area at the session. Like that, the session happened before the actual session. So different things could be happening in the session before you session. And then when you actually get those things off, maybe talking to somebody or anything like that, when it's time to dance, you feel great when you dance. You don't feel stifled. You don't feel the weight on your shoulder. Or that person that's dancing for you is dancing and telling you they got you. I'm here for you. So yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that clarity. Another question is, interesting question, is how did you use your winnings from the competition to make the film? Did you have to pay the dancers and the people in the film?
Man, that's a real logistical question. That's cool. Yeah, no. So the winnings for the film were, as the question asker said, it was to make the film. And filmmaking, when you do it right, filmmaking is a pretty expensive process, because not only do you have to, get the cameras, the cameramen, the sound equipment, the soundmen, lighting equipment, people who run lights, there's like 20 people behind like, some of our sets. And then they got those gimbals and things like that. So the numbers add up really, really quickly. And then you got things like clearances. Some of our music, we needed to make sure that it was squared away. We had to go through like proper channels to copyright the film and do like filmmaking. When you do it right, parts of it can get really boring and really like tiring. Like, man, I don't feel like it. I just want to release it, but there was a lot that went into it. We worked with a company called Red Bicycle Media, and they're one of the premier companies in the city, and they do amazing work all over the country. So they really helped out and helped us to boost our production quality up. And it's a learning experience. I think that if Conrad or I got $25K to make another film, we would use the lessons from this one, and we would make wiser choices with it. We'd come out of it with some crazy equipment of our own and do all of this. But in terms, last part of that, paying the participants in documentaries, you're not really supposed to like pay them like you would pay actors, but you can make sure that like if somebody gets called off work, you could cover them for like different things like that. And we paid ourselves too. So yeah.
Okay, very thorough answer. I think they were kind of getting at whether the subjects were paid, and you answered that well, because you want them to be genuine, and I feel like they are. There's a price tag on the information that they're sharing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the final question we have is, do you have any plans to make a sequel?
There's so
Ah, wow, y'all smart.
yeah, it's smart.
I guess they want more.
I'll start off and say there's so much footage that there's enough for almost like a series, and there's enough for like a way longer movie with so much that y'all didn't see. But Rad could talk more about like there's a lot of ideas buzzing too. So Rad, if you wanted to.
So for the person that asked the question, that's the reason why I was in LA this over the past week. So we're working on something. We got a lot of different ideas and a lot of different things we want to see. You know what I mean? If it could happen, I mean, if it could not happen. So we're working on some things now and seeing if those things works out. So the goal, we will want to see, we want to touch a lot of different communities, and a lot of different communities have similar stories to us, and and the viewer could relate to them in a different way as well. So we just stay tuned. Me and Chris, we're working on something.
Okay, so wait and see. Wait and see. I'm sure it'll be really interesting and really enlightening as well too. Well, Uh, Conrad and Chris, I can't thank you enough for the time that you spent with me. Uh, Conrad, hopefully you don't look like you have jet lag. You just came in from the West Coast, so thank you for for being wide awake for this interview, for this session here, as I say. As I say, so it's much appreciated. I wish you both all the best, and we look forward to seeing your future work as well.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Much.
Okay, and I'd like to thank you, our audience, for this joining us for this invigorating and important conversation. For more information about the upcoming 45th Cleveland International Film Festival, please follow CIFF on social media or visit clevelandfilm.org. I'm Eric Siler. Thank you.